Thanks for joining us here in Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Friday, November 7th. Many of us have some big travel plans coming up, hoping to make it home or somewhere for the holidays, wherever that might be. Tonight, we're taking another look at a way to fly from Utah amid the cancellations and the reductions at Salt Lake City International Airport. Before we do that, though, time to check in on the weather here just in time for the weekend with meteorologist Sean Kelly. Rumor has it you're getting the golf clubs out this weekend. Hope it's nice for you.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be even nicer for next week.
I didn't get invited, by the way.
You know, we still have time, Brian.
I know.
I think we've got about a week and a half to 2 weeks of still golf weather before things change here.
Sure.
So a little bit of a later arrival for some snow up into the mountains. But again, no complaints here. It's still looking pretty nice to close out the month. But yeah, we're starting off the month pretty mild here. And even today, with our cold front today, that actually places still slightly above normal for this time of year for the high temperature of 59 degrees here in Salt Lake City. Down towards the south, we had highs in the 70s. Look at Vegas into the 70s, Phoenix and Palm Springs into the 90s there. 53 degrees right now, so it's a chilly Friday evening. Definitely jacket weather still right now, and jacket weather through much of the overnight here as those lows will be back down into the 30s. So it will be quite cold early tomorrow morning. But again, we mentioned a gorgeous weekend ahead. Have outdoor plans. Will be well into the 50s for both Saturday and Sunday. Plenty of sunshine, but changes next week. We're talking about welcoming changes. We're back into the 60s, but with the 60s, with the high pressure moving in, some hazy, sunny skies. We'll talk about more of that coming up in my first alert weather forecast.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Travelers at Salt Lake City International Airport, not the only location really in Utah that may feel some sort of a pinch. The flight reductions and cancellations continue thanks to the government shutdown and the proactive approach, some are saying, regarding the FAA. Now, Breeze Airways is a small carrier based out of Cottonwood Heights. What they have are flights all over the country, some including airports on the list of 40 with those reductions. While they don't fly out of Salt Lake City International, which is on that list, they do offer flights from Provo and Ogden here in Utah. I asked Chief Commercial Operator Lucas Johnson how they prioritized which flights to reduce in order to follow those guidelines.
For Breeze, we are focusing on smaller and underserved airports, so we do have less impact. Less than half of our flights are touching one of those big 40 airports impacted. But we've gone along with everybody else in trying to reduce the strain on the system. Importantly, for us out west, no flights out of Utah were affected. We fly. We're the largest carrier in Provo. And we serve Ogden as well, and none of those flights were impacted.
When we talk about Ogden and Provo, could there still be a trickle-down effect to any of those flights that you would foresee based on other operations at other airports?
Yeah, I think as the level of flying overall goes down, unless they were to expand the 40 airports out of there, it wouldn't likely affect us. Even though we do fly to some of those airports from Provo, the majority of our flights, again, don't touch it.
What was the process like for you in choosing how to reduce to meet those demands that were basically sent your way as you need to do this, figure it out? How did you do it?
Yeah, we absolutely prioritized minimizing the guest impact, right? So we tried to give as much advance warning. We know it's very disruptive to guests' plans on travel. So we complied with the full 7 days all the way through next Friday, the 14th of November. And chose it based on options to reaccom the guests onto other flights and flights that would minimize the total number of guests impacted.
Do you foresee Provo and Ogden seeing perhaps an increase in interest in Breeze and other services that are there versus the airlines, for example, that are servicing out of Salt Lake City International?
Yeah, absolutely. Across our system, because we focus mostly on more convenient, kind of smaller hometown airports, we are seeing an uptick from some of the major airports. Guests value, especially in a strain time like this, they value the nonstop, which we provide.
How much does this hurt revenue for you guys and keeping operations going to the fullest extent of what you want after all of this is resolved?
Yeah, it's definitely painful as a business. Your costs are pretty much fixed on this. You're canceling flights off, you're canceling revenue, you're impacting guests. You're hoping that you take care of them so that they come back, but it's not a easy thing for any kind of business to deal with these disruptions.
Well, those disruptions are just starting to take shape here with the 4% reduction today and the trickle-down effect in the following days. Ultimately, a week from now, a 10% reduction at those airports on the list. For example, at Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey, many flights were canceled, rescheduled, or delayed, but most travelers found out about the changes before getting to the airport. A Utah cosmetic surgeon, Karen Soika, was not so lucky.
So I'm calm. I'm a surgeon. I'm used to chaos. You have to just think logically. So I'm like, okay, talk to a few people here. They're saying, if I were you, I would not travel over the next 3 days. It's going to get worse. TSA said that to me, and the airline counters said it like unofficially. They can't, right? But they gave me their take. So I'm like, okay, I'll go get a rental car. Because I have a Connecticut license and the flight was canceled, they won't rent me a car. Guess what I have to do? I'm going to U-Haul. And I'm going to drive a truck cross country to get back to Utah because I have to be back by Tuesday.
Well, a horrible reminder that the TSA workers at Newark Liberty International Airport are not getting paid during the government shutdown, as are the air traffic controllers. So in the midst of a shutdown, Breeze Airways is actually looking to expand. So far, Luke is sharing with me that only 2 round-trip flights were canceled today in their nationwide service, with a total of 32 or so system-wide over the next 8 days. He says Breeze is familiar with the practice of price spikes in high-demand flight plans, but they have no intention of taking advantage of that situation for their customers.
We actually are expanding Provo quite a bit. We're already the largest carrier there. We've got service going to both Las Vegas and Burbank starting up in the next couple of months. So it's an exciting time to be a traveler in Utah. I think there's a lot more options, a lot more nonstops, and kind of great value out there.
When you look at what your goals are as a company in terms of airfare and what you serve, is this a time where you also have to adjust airfare pricing because of the shift in the amount of flights you're able to provide?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely don't want to take advantage of anybody on that side. You do see this throughout, especially on the large carriers and events like this. Some of these prices spiking. For the most part, we would prefer not to do that. But when there's crazy shocks to the system, a lot of the systems are set up like that way.
Today, if we're looking at the first day here, the 7th of November, which I think was the 4% reduction, and then it'll trickle towards the full 10 on the 14th. How were you impacted today versus what we'll see later on next week?
Yeah, fortunately for us, we've only had to cancel 2 round trips today, and that will ramp up so that a week from now that number will increase. But over the next week, we're only going to average 2 round trips canceled off throughout our system. I guess if you're a traveler, please be patient, especially with TSA and a lot of our airport workers that ATC that are not being paid during the shutdown. They deserve as much compassion as anybody traveling. And from that standpoint, make sure you're giving yourself extra time if you are flying out of a major airport. But certainly we would hope you consider flying out of a secondary that's not going to have these issues.
So far today, airlines have canceled 24 flights or so over at the airport here in Salt Lake. Some of those inbound, some of those outgoing flights. 60 more flights have been delayed due to the government shutdown. The FAA ordered airlines to cut that 10% of their flights at 40 airports across the country. That is coming through a sort of day by day or almost a weekly approach. The reduction will take shape over the next week to that 10%. Salt Lake City's on that list of 40 major airports. Salt Lake Airport says this represents about 2% of total airplane seats. That is using the number today. Some passengers are not being notified in time, or in Mike's case, not at all.
I got here, was checking in, and they said, well, that flight's been canceled till 10:47 tonight, and there's another flight at 8 something, and it got canceled, or it was over full. There's a lot of people that are in worse shape than me, so it's not insurmountable. I'll be okay, but I'll miss dinner with my wife.
So check your airline app before you even go to the airport. Pro tip: what do you do if your flight is canceled? And if you are booking a flight, what should you be considering here or looking out for? Megan Walsh with Insure My Trip says having your trip insured could save you time and hundreds.
If you don't have insurance in place, I'd definitely check with the airline to see, what they may be offering. If they're offering a refund, the ability to rebook, um, any additional expenses that you might face in the event that you are, say, stuck in an airport and have to purchase additional meals. In some cases, they may not be required to offer these things, but it's always worth checking.
So just last night, I was over at the Salt Lake International Airport for a 2 News town hall talking to 3 experts in air travel. Good thing for you. We covered practically everything you need to know about this. If you're a traveler, if you have information that you need to know about which airports and how much and what the airlines are doing, we literally talked about almost everything you can imagine about this subject. So I'd invite you to get familiar with it, especially if you're traveling. Head over to our YouTube page, click live. You'll find it just a few videos behind this show's live stream. Hey, look, there I am.
Coming up, it's been 7 years since Lauren McCluskey was murdered on the University of Utah's campus. What's changed and how her family continues to advocate for her.
Right now, the Lauren McCluskey Foundation is holding a fundraising gala in support of improving safety on college campuses. This comes 7 years after University of Utah student Lauren McCluskey was murdered on campus by an abusive ex-boyfriend. Liv Kelleher spoke with Lauren's mom and the university about what's changed since the 21-year-old's death.
The chief safety officer here at the U tells me that they've entirely revamped their police department, and almost none of the officers who were here at the time of Lauren's death are still with the department. Jill McCluskey, Lauren's mom, tells me her mission is simple: to change the culture that responds poorly to intimate partner violence on college campuses.
I hope that police can understand that it's brave to report.
Lauren was being stalked and harassed by an abusive ex-boyfriend.
She was telling them embarrassing things that were happening to her. They should have compassion, but then also understand that they have to respond with urgency.
After contacting campus police several times, they failed to follow up on Lauren's case. A short time later, she was murdered on campus.
We've created a threat assessment and management team dedicated to receiving and managing all of those that are reported to us.
What's the challenge of ensuring that every call, every person who is concerned about their safety is getting proper attention?
It really is having an expectation that all of these cases get notified up, which unfortunately wasn't the case that existed back when Lauren was murdered on campus.
He said anyone who reports abuse is provided with a victim's advocate. They also train on trauma-informed policing and have improved their hiring practices. The McCluskey Foundation has introduced several global initiatives, including a pledge for college professors and a campus safety score system.
I want the people who we trust our students to, I want them to know whether they're measuring up.
I asked Jill what she thought her daughter's legacy is. She said Lauren deeply loved people and even in her death continues to help others. The Lauren McCluskey Foundation is hosting a fundraising run tomorrow here at the U. All proceeds from the event will support the foundation's research and advocacy. Reporting from the University of Utah, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
We've been covering this story since October 2018, the night Lauren McCluskey was murdered at the University of Utah. Police say an ex-boyfriend killed McCluskey. Officers found her body in a car at a campus apartment complex. In the years since this happened, the University of Utah updated policies and started a memorial run in Lauren's honor. All right, taking a look at the forecast here just in time for the weekend. Sunshine's beautiful. Temperatures look pretty good.
Yeah, you've been talking about golf, but I still need to get you out on the pickleball court.
Yeah, apparently. I have yet to give in. By the way.
Or ping pong, too.
Ping pong, well, ping pong we can do.
You're pretty good at ping pong.
I don't know.
But whatever activity you plan on doing outside,
you mocked me last time we played ping pong.
You know, you just got to play a little bit better,
sure.
Brian, so it's more exciting for me. But whatever you plan on doing, whatever, maybe it's yard work, maybe raking up some of those leaves. We got some of those gorgeous fall colors, or maybe you're playing some pickleball tomorrow morning. You'll need the winter jacket early. But then into the second half of the morning and early afternoon, those temperatures will warm nicely back up into the 50s. And with the sun out, it'll feel really nice. But here we go again, worsening air quality issues as we head into the weekend, into early next week especially. High pressure system will be moving in. That means that valley inversions here will become an issue, and then air quality will go downhill a little bit here. So you'll notice a little bit more of that hazy skies. But for today, the air is clean and clear. We've got temperatures up and down the Wasatch Front, cooling down pretty quickly. We're into the 50s and 40s, 40 in Park City, 41 in Heber, 49 in Price. Down in St. George, still pretty comfortable there into the 60s, 40 in Vernal. We had a few isolated rain showers early this morning with the passing of our cold front, but it was more so a dry front that just brought in that reinforcing rush of some cooler temperatures today, holding us steady to where we should be for this time of the year. No more 70s like we saw earlier in the week. High pressure system will start to slowly build in the next 24 to 48 hours, bringing us plenty of sunshine tomorrow and plenty of sunshine for Sunday. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And in fact, by early next week, as that high really moves in right over us, much of the Intermountain West is going to be feeling very warm with temperatures into the 60s. Meanwhile, the Midwest, the Great Lakes region and parts of the Northeast going to be dealing with their first Arctic blast here, polar vortex of some cold temperatures and even some light snow accumulations for them. Luckily, we're not dealing with that. However, after about 7 to 10 days, we're going to start to see a pattern change here with maybe a series of storms moving in from November 16th and beyond. So I think that's when our more active winter-like weather will start to at least get going, especially for the mountains, and that'll be hopefully setting up some better conditions as we get closer towards opening weekend for some of those ski resorts. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that. In the meantime, it's going to be cold overnight. We're down to the 30s and 20s here, with decreasing clouds, and that will translate to plenty of sunshine tomorrow. We're back up closer to where we should be for this time of year. We'll see 60s and 70s down towards the south. If you're heading to any of our national parks, fantastic weather. Again, this is the best time of the year to be doing that. And of course, for the Utah State game tomorrow, starting off chilly and then getting chillier through the evening down to 30s. For St. George, how about this? Each and every day, above normal temperatures, 70s there, increasing clouds into next week. And then across the Wasatch Front, this is what I'm talking about here, Brian. Those temperatures will be back into the 60s for all of next week, and we'll be watching for that next storm there a week from today.
Yeah, it's football weather, right? It's what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
You know, you got to bundle up if you've got that night game and be ready for the elements to a degree. Pleasant, though, until we get to next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, really nice for this time of year. We're well above normal 55 degrees, so every single day above normal. You know, it's nothing too crazy, no 70s, but I mean, we'll take that. It's something to look forward to. I'm enjoying, you know, this calmness before things. I think after a Friday here, things will start to get a little bit more active.
We got to sneak in some golf here,
We
right?
better.
I mean, I think we got to do that, and
I don't
that's a
expect
necessity.
much in the way of frost delays too early in those mornings.
Good.
It's
You
not
hear
too
that,
bad.
everybody? You should be able to get that early tee time.
That's right.
Courses will be relatively conservative about that. Thank you, Sean. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, how is your poker face? A self-dubbed group, the Poker Girls, and why they refuse to fold after 50 years. Well, let's take it back to 1975. A group of women started to get together to play cards while their husbands watched football. Now in their 70s and 80s, they're decorating their old poker room with photos and memories spanning 5 decades, proving that what started with a deck of cards turned into the hand of a lifetime. Cameron Pullum met up with the gals to celebrate their incredible milestone and see what keeps them still laughing, still dealing, and still all in for each other. It is 50 years in the making, and it's inspiring. Cool to see. Thanks for joining us tonight here on ARC Salt Lake. Hope you have a very safe and enjoyable weekend. We are back Monday night. Take care.